guys, this is Mrs. Bullock. Hey. Here's the Africa study guide that you guys did before you take the test. I hope you did the practice because it should be pretty simple. But I want to make sure you guys use text-to-speech if you're taking the test. You go to settings, you go to accessories, and it's very simple if you want the test read to you, but you have to do that on your iPad. West and Central Africa, I had the key on there for you guys. Just a quick review, savanna is grasslands, and it's where a lot of the animals roam. It's great, it has oases. It's right below the Sahel, but it's a place where animals can go and find vegetation. Loss of forest cover is deforestation, and it's what's happening right at the edge, right between the savanna and the rainforest, because businesses, corporations, government is getting rid of those trees, which is not a good thing. The life-threatening disease of mosquito spread is malaria, and this is something that Africa, especially Central Africa, all of Africa, is really having an issue with, is they've got to find a way to combat and stop malaria. Nets, they don't have the resources that we do to do that. Resources that West Africans and North Arabs trade is they actually traded gold for salt. Salt preserved the food. Movement of enslaved Africans across the Atlantic Ocean was known as, that movement actually was the Atlantic slave trade during that triangular trade between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. The movement of enslaved Africans, that journey, that grueling passage between Africa and the Americas was called the Middle Passage. Explain what it's like for a slave coming across the Atlantic as part of the slave trade. When they were forced onto those ships, it was torture. It was sad. The conditions were terrible. They weren't given any information. They weren't fed. They were just there as property. So it's very, very sad. The three parties that benefited from slave trade, unfortunately, was plantation owners. Certain tribal leaders sold their own people into slavery, and the Europeans. Colonialism is when one nation wants to take over another nation. What happened at the Berlin Conference in 1884? I crossed that out, but basically at that particular conference is when Africa was divided, and they never thought about what would happen. They didn't think about the ethnic groups or the cultures. Why did European powers want to colonize Africa? Because they wanted resources in the beginning and prestige and land. What is a body of public works the country needs to support the modern economy? It's infrastructure, it's building, it's roads. It's something that some parts of Africa have and some do not, especially in remote parts of West Africa. The use of power for personal gain is corruption. It's something that you find in many countries and among leaders in parts of West Africa. The DRC and Ghana. Ghana actually, after independence, gained its independence in the 1960s, actually did very well. They had good leadership, women's rights, they promoted democracy, where the DRC was just the opposite. They had poor leadership, Mobutu. There was a dictator for 32 years, which shows you what can happen to a country. Even today, you see the DRC with the schooling and the poor economy is falling apart, lack of leadership. The African Union and Pan-Africanism are two organizations that really came together to promote development and to try to get rid of the poverty and the issues in many parts of the continent of Africa. Microcredit is one of the examples that they came up with to give small loans to women to try to come up with small businesses to make money to feed their family. These are just some of the things that I wanted to go over with the study guide before you took the test. Have a great day.